For more, let's cross to Rome, and we're joined by France 24's Josephine McKenna. Now, Josephine, we heard strong reaction from the Vatican in response to this report. Tell us more about it and what victims are saying about the Vatican's reaction.
Well, Molly, as you said, shame and sorrow were the words used by the Vatican in its first statement since the release of this shocking report. And the statement also said the Pope wanted victims to know that he was on their side and that the Catholic Church was determined to root out this tragic horror, what it called tragic horror, that involved this terrible abuse of innocent children. Now, the Vatican also said that it had taken, the Catholic Church had taken measures in recent years to put in place measures to root out abuse, and said that church reforms in the US had actually led to a drastic reduction in abuse. Now, victims and supporters certainly don't agree with that. They want to see a nationwide federal investigation in the United States to determine the full extent of abuse by Catholic clergy. And there are also calls to change the statute of limitations in the state of Pennsylvania, at least, that prevents victims from prosecuting their alleged perpetrators years after the abuse has taken place. And this has been a huge issue in the context of the Pennsylvania report. Many victims are unable to take legal action against the perpetrators because of this statute of limitations. So a huge outcry that is causing shockwaves not only across the United States but around the world as the Catholic Church comes to terms with what has been decades of abuse in only one state in the United States.
Indeed, Josephine, and that's what many are saying is putting this into perspective. This is one particular location in the United States, and we have seen, of course, other examples and the scope of this sex abuse scandal that's facing the Catholic Church.
Well, this is a scandal that shows no sign of ending, and it's in fact engulfing the pontificate of Pope Francis. Earlier this year, he challenged suggestions, claims from Chilean abuse survivors that they had been abused by Catholic clergy. He was then forced to apologise, saying he was misinformed, and met those at least 3 survivors at the Vatican to offer his sympathy. Now he has a new crisis here in the United States, which is affecting the faithful already, many of whom are saying they simply don't want to go to Catholic Church anymore in the US because of the state of this scandal. And he's about to embark on a trip to Ireland next week. There's also speculation he's going to meet sex abuse victims there. So that's another reminder of the scandal that engulfed the Irish Catholic Church. But closer to home, it's affected cardinals as well. Cardinal Theodore McGarrick, the American cardinal and former Archbishop of Washington, was forced to resign recently. He's been accused of sex abuse. And the latest Pennsylvania scandal has brought about calls for the resignation of the current Washington Cardinal Donald Wuerl, who was in the Pittsburgh diocese, in charge of the Pittsburgh diocese, while some of these alleged sexual abuse cases were taking place. So this is moving very close to the inner circle, if you like, of Pope Francis, and putting even more pressure on his pontificate, and certainly increasing demands for the Catholic Church to bring these alleged perpetrators to justice.
Josephine, thank you for that. Josephine McKenna joining us from Rome.